Well, hello once again and welcome to Midweek Connect from Elim Church Romsey. My name's Dave Walker. Well, my goodness, what a week it's been. I think my theme for last week's broadcast was regarding the new Prime Minister. And of course, since then, we have sadly lost our Queen, Queen Elizabeth II, who has been on the throne for 70 years. And there's probably very few of us who can actually remember the old king before. In fact, there's somebody in our church who he came up to me on Sunday and says, well, I remember him, but there's not many of us that do remember anything before Queen Elizabeth II. And of course, she has been a stable force in all our lives for many, many years. I myself, I've never actually met her, but I saw her on 3 occasions. I was working at a garage in Derby once where she came to officially open a swimming pool, a new swimming pool, leisure centre across the road. I remember I was closing the garage down and sort of going across to see her. And also when I lived in the island of Guernsey, there were 2 occasions where I actually saw her. One very up close when I jumped out of a bush and sort of got with the crowd nearby to where she was opening up a new monument in the north part of Guernsey. And a bit later on, I saw her at the airport in Guernsey. But she has been a stable force in all our lives. And what I see people doing across the country is reacting with, I suppose, a sense of shock that something has changed. A foundation that we once had isn't there anymore. And maybe people look at the new king and we respect him and have all kinds of opinions on him. We're thinking, I really hope that the next 10, 20, 30 years will have the stability in our country, in our nation, that we had before under the previous queen. But personally, as a Christian and as a follower of Jesus, although I respect human leaders, my security isn't in any king or queen or government. My security is in God. And I've been a Christian since I was 19 and I'm in mid-50s now. And that delight, that background, that framework of Christianity, for me, will never go away. And it's a great privilege to be a Christian. In the Old Testament, there is a psalm. It's Psalm 90. It says it's a psalm. It describes it as a prayer by Moses, the man of God. Now, Christianity obviously is the New Testament, and but this particular psalm from the Old Testament is nevertheless an illustration of the stability we can have with a relationship with God. I just want to read some verses from it, and then I'll put it into context, because some of it is a bit sort of really challenging and maybe a bit extreme, but I'll bring out the bits that I believe really illustrate the time we're going through as a country. Lord, you have been our dwelling place throughout all generations. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. You turn men back to dust, saying, return to dust, O sons of men. For 1,000 years in your sight are like a day that has just gone by, or like a watch in the night. You sweep men away in the sleep of death. They are like the new grass of the morning. Though in the morning it springs up new, by evening it is dry and withered. And what the writer of this was saying is, look, you might have human leaders, but there is a God who is in the background, who is the author of life, who created everything. And actually, as we move into the New Testament, we can see that this God wants a relationship with you and I through Jesus Christ. So that even though a very important leader in our country, who is held dear by many people, is no longer there is an even bigger and greater and stronger background, and that is God. I want to move down a little bit further. Verse 11, who knows the power of your anger? For your wrath is as great as fear that is due to you. Teach us to number our days aright, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Relent, O Lord, how long will it be? Have compassion on your servants. Satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing love, that we may sing for joy and be glad all our days. Make us glad for as many days as you have afflicted us, for as many days as we have seen trouble. May your deeds be shown to your servants, your splendor to their children. May the favor of the Lord our God rest upon us. Establish the work of our hands. Yes, establish the work of our hands. Just apologies for getting slightly tongue-tied as I read that there. So there are good leaders and there are bad leaders. And this prayer that Moses wrote, of course, it just reflects on the fact that there is a God behind it all. And in the New Testament, that God reveals himself to us afresh again through Jesus Christ. And he meets ordinary people and he comes alongside them. And he comes alongside the downtrodden. He comforts the bereaved. He provides for the needy. And we see that whatever happens, this background, this background God, this foundation that Moses talked about in the earlier psalm is there through everything. We look at the future in our country. We don't know what's going to happen. We've just had a new king and queen consort come, and there'll be a coronation of some point, I would imagine. But we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We don't know who's going to live or die or how things will change. We just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen constitutionally. Will Scotland break off? What will that mean? But I would say to you, don't worry about the future, because we're told in the Bible, and what I just mentioned, that we can trust in God no matter what happens. Yesterday I had a funeral of a friend of mine. He passed away. He was a Christian. And lots of people in the funeral were talking about how this guy used to shine for Jesus. How when he used to meet people, you could see and you could see the character and the love of Jesus Christ illustrated in this man, in everything this man said. He was so lovely, so warm, his smile, and it was as though you met Jesus when you met him. And I would say that as we look at the future, the gospel of Jesus Christ, this God who was a background rock that Moses mentioned in this earlier psalm, is still there. He's still here. He created the universe and he wants a relationship with you. And as a young man, I used to worry about every political twist and turn that was happening in the country. But in the end, at age 19, I gave my life to Jesus Christ. And I would say to you, if you're a Christian or you're not a Christian, spend time with God in prayer daily. And if it means just sitting there and waiting and maybe reading a little bit, that's fine. Because this God who Moses mentioned here in verse 1 and 2 of Psalm 90, Lord, you have been our dwelling place throughout all generations. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. And whatever happens in the country, this great queen that we've had, yes, we thank God for her, but we don't worship her. We thank God for her Christian example, but we know she is gone. But the Jesus that she talked about is still there in the background. And I would say that in the time you have remaining on this earth, whether it's a year or 50 years or 70 years, throw everything into the Christian faith. Throw everything into a relationship with God, because he is real and he will not let you down. And you can have a relationship with God that goes on through eternity. Come and join us this weekend at Elim Church Romsey. We've got a great weekend. I'm going to be preaching in the morning on the second part of our series in the Sermon on the Mount. In the evening, we've got the brilliant Chris Wickland from Living Word Church in Fareham preaching at our church this Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. And he's a brilliant communicator, far better than me. You're going to be really blessed. So come along this weekend. But thank you for joining us this day for Midweek Connect from Elim Church Romsey. God bless you. Thank you.